Okay, I would like to introduce to the new features of the Mastodon Deep Lineage Release 0.2.0. The updates in this release mainly refer to the classification of lineage trees again. We have introduced two new similarity measures, the normalized Sum-Triada distance with additional local normalization and the classic, so to say, or the absolute Sum-Triada distance, also with additional local normalization. If you're interested in the math behind that, I would like to refer you to the documentation of the project. There you can see all the maths behind it. Other than that, I would recommend you to try out what works best for you. And yeah, in the future, we plan to do some performance, so which similarity measure maybe works best. Then, yeah, I will do the classification of these lineage trees so that we can see the clustering. And in this clustering dialog, we have introduced some new UI features. So you can, for example, switch on and off this classification threshold. The classification threshold mainly is the line which cuts all these colored lines. So below these lines, these are the clusters that are detected by the hierarchy clustering. Above or left of this line, yeah, just shows the dendrogram, and here's where the dendrogram is cut so that you get all these classes. Then you can select to show the root labels, yes or no. They refer mainly to these labels that you can see in the track scheme. You can show the tag labels. So if you have, for example, have tag labels that refer to sulfates, you can very nicely show that the lineage tree classification is a good predictor, or maybe not in your case, for sulfate. So in this case, it's quite a good predictor because many of the sulfates, they are in the same class identified by the classification. And yeah, you can also select different tag sets if you have. And last thing that you can switch on and off is the median of the all tree similarities. This is something which we introduced because we thought, okay, it might make sense. So it may be unclear what is a high and what is a low tree similarity with regard to your data set. And this median mainly shows the tree similarities. So every tree is compared with every other. Then you get a set of distances, and this line shows the medium of all these distances. The next thing that we can show here is, so I will switch on the root labels and the tag labels again, that if you right click in this area, you can choose to export it as SVG or as PNG. This may be helpful when you want to make a high resolution print of this for a publication or for a presentation. So this is how this would look like. So you see it, the SVG is now opened in a browser, and I can zoom in and out, and it's really, yeah, you get it to, it's basically vector graphics and you have high resolution. The same is for the PNG export. So we've set the PNG export to export this with 600 dpi. So it's quite good resolution already, and maybe you can already use this for publication. Okay, I would like to show you two more things with this synthetical dataset that we created for performance tests. And the first thing that we can show here is the lineage classification with only two classes. So that's something which is allowed now to do. Before that was not allowed. So because we thought, yeah, it's maybe not very useful to classify two lineage trees into two classes. So what comes out of this is the classification. One tree is in one class and the other tree is in the other class. But what is interesting is that if you're maybe only interested in getting the similarity of this tree compared to this tree, sometimes you want to have it, you can read it from here. So it's around 0.5 in this case, the similarity of this tree compared to the other tree. So this is something which is now possible and which you can do if you select in the dialog that you only want to have 2 classes and you have a project, where you only have 2 trees remaining. And the second thing that you can do with this is like a benchmarking of this. So that's mainly, we did this for development purposes, but yeah, you can try with this dataset how far you can get with the lineage tree classification. You can see that this is a quite complex data set. That's quite a lot of trees and subdivisions and cells, spots. So yeah, it's a quite complex data set to test with.